For his reaction to the senator's remarks, I'm joined in the studio by Phil Fontaine. He's the former National Chief of the Assembly of First Nations and a residential school survivor himself. Good to see you.
Good afternoon.
So what do you make of Senator Beyak's comments?
The senator is misguided in her opinion about the residential school experience. She misspoke. She clearly didn't do enough research about the experience. She clearly didn't read the Truth and Reconciliation Commission report. Doesn't understand the calls to action. Clearly doesn't know that there were 38,000 abuse claims, another 7,000 testimonials that were gathered by the TRC. And if she had been aware of those, she wouldn't have spoken as she did.
And yet, you know, she has been given the opportunity to speak again on this, and she is standing by her comments. And she's saying, I stand by what I said, you know, that maybe people didn't understand the context of what I was speaking, that they were just going for the clips and the sound bites of what she said, that she doesn't need any more education on the issue. She's lived in the North for 40 years. She has Aboriginal friends. I mean, this is what she's saying. So when you say she misspoke, she doesn't sound like someone who believes that she misspoke.
Well, if she was operating within and speaking within the appropriate context, she would have known that the policy that brought the residential school experience to us was racist, was assimilationist, and it was designed to eradicate any sense of Indianness in the country. And the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Canada said this was cultural genocide. The former Prime Minister, Paul Martin, made the same assertion. And clearly, she is off the mark on this matter.
What would you do to try and, even if she says she doesn't need it, to educate her? How would you would you explain to her that, you know, what you experienced, what thousands of others experienced was terrible?
Well, first of all, I think we all have to be educated. And I'm speaking here about Canadians. This was an experience that was largely unknown for too long. It represents the saddest, darkest, most tragic chapter in Canadian history. And it's just come to light. So people like Senator Beyak and others that believe that some good occurred in these schools, I mean, they're not right in that, I mean, they're not wrong in that sense, because it would defy logic to suggest that 150,000 students that attended residential schools over 100 years, we wouldn't find 1, 2, or 3 people that had a good experience, or that there were good people that worked in these schools. But the fact is, what the residential school experience is a result of a racist, assimilationist policy. It was designed to eradicate any sense of Indianness in the country, and that's wrong. So Senator Beyak's comments within that context are simply wrong and have no place in this conversation that is taking place in the country about this experience.
So tell me more about that you think that it is wrong for her to zero in on what may have been, you know, a small number of good experience from, as she puts it, well-intentioned people?
Well, as I said, I don't deny those experiences, but the fact is the vast majority of the students that attended residential school didn't have the kind of experience she's talking about. And so in that sense, her remarks are misguided, and she misspoke clearly. But people overlook the fact that she didn't only talk about the residential school experience. She talked about audits for, you know, all of the money going to First Nations people, and she's making the assertion that the money isn't getting to the people that need the support. And we've gone over that so many times, and report after report has made it very clear that First Nations governments are the most audited in the country. So I don't know why we have to go over that that ground again.
So why do you think all of this is coming up and sort of, I mean, I don't know, I'm trying to get you to understand where her thinking could come from.
Well, I think she doesn't accept the findings of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, and that's unfortunate. And she's hurting people that have suffered needlessly for too long, and she's doing a disservice to the Senate. She's doing a disservice to the country.
Should she resign?
Well, that's I wouldn't go that far. I think. I mean, I would much prefer that we didn't make as much as we've made of this. These senators' comments. As I said, they're misguided, she misspoke, and she needs to educate herself. And even though she claims that she's well educated, clearly she isn't, because she hasn't read the report, she hasn't read the findings of the TRC report, and that's the first thing she should do. Once she has completed her own research, then she can make the kinds of comments that would be more appropriate in my view.
Can you tell us about your experience, just to give an example to her and to others of what it was like in a residential school?
I've had many opportunities. There have been occasions where I've talked about my own experience, and I mean, I'd be willing to sit down with Senator Beyak and explain to her my own experience.